Under Armour seems to get better every time they drop a new release, and the new Magnetico was a nice change of pace. I would even go as far as saying they are one of the better control boots currently on the market. Coming in at $250 US, it is on par with all the other current control boots on the market. Now, the name of this Soleplate is actually called the Control Outsole, and it is supposed to be optimal for changing direction in any shape or way while playing football. And what's kind of funny is it's the exact same idea that the Soleplate on the Clone Magnetico has currently, but they are two vastly different sole plates. As for the stud pattern itself, it is mostly neutral. The top 4 studs here are completely rounded, and then you have these semi-rounded studs on either side, which are sort of connected and reminds me of the older T90 studs a little bit. And then if we go to the back studs here, they are bladed, but kind of have a rounded element to them, and they basically look like the planet Saturn with, you know, just the planet in a ring around it, which I don't know what the difference is in doing that other than just normal blades, but that's what they decided to go with. As for the performance, I wore these on turf, especially when shooting the B-roll. It's very hard to get on grass at all right now. It's getting very, very cold. It's starting to get snowy. The ground's freezing. It's just something I'm gonna have to deal with. So any sort of FG boots I do currently are most likely going to be on turf only, at least until the winter's over. However, wearing these on turf was not a big issue. I did have a lot of stud pressure, but there's 2 reasons, and the first one is going to be the fact that I was on a very poorly kept pitch. It's the pitch I always talk about. It just does not have a lot of cushion at all. So you're definitely going to feel studs regardless. And even on some AG boots I've worn, I feel that stud pressure. And that second reason I'll get into later on because it falls in a different category. But overall, a very fantastic performing sole plate. Shout out to Under Armour for designing kind of something new, but also not really, with a mostly conical yet somewhat bladed sole plate. This upper is unique in the fact that it does have a knit upper, but it's not entirely one piece. It doesn't connect all the way on the inside of the boot. I don't think I was able to get a really good look at this or a really good shot of it, so I'm going to try to put a photo in here so you can see what I'm talking about, but it doesn't actually wrap all the way inside the boot like most modern uppers do. So that's kind of strange, but it is actually called the Clone Upper Fit, and so it's supposed to fit your foot very snugly and even have a little bit of stretching capacity as well. The upper itself is very plush and comfortable. I really enjoyed the predecessor to this model. It was super comfortable when striking, and it carried over pretty much exactly the same. So I'm glad they kept that. And they even added a little bit of a rubber striking element right here, right where you usually lace the ball. And the upper itself is actually called the Clone Upper Fit, and it's supposed to wrap your foot very nicely. And while it does do that, it leads to a little bit of some discomfort and issues, as I don't think this boot is meant for wide feet at all. In fact, I think you need pretty narrow feet to wear this boot. And that's gonna lead me into size and fit. So I really do think this boot is comfortable to strike with. It's awesome. It's a really unique material and feeling to most boots these days on the market, but I just could not keep my foot in these boots for long. I think I could only wear them for 30 minutes at a time. The B-roll was the longest time in one sitting that I wore them. It's just very difficult, and I just think Under Armour just is meant for more narrow feet. The Shadow Pro that I did is just not meant for wide feet at all. While it is a fantastic boot, I'm kind of upset I don't get to actually wear it more because it was fun to wear. But same thing for the Magnetico. I really was hoping that this would be a wider version, but it's not. I got my normal 9 US. Lengthwise, it fits pretty good, but unfortunately the width is just where it takes away most of the boot. I just don't think my feet fit this properly. So if you have wide feet, I'm gonna tell you it's probably best to stay away. Now, like I said, they were very uncomfortable for me to wear in terms of the width, so the amount of pain I got there, but the heel was very comfortable. It has the right amount of padding in my opinion. Again, very similar to the Nike Vapors currently on the market, or at least the Vapor 15. And even the upper, like I said, it's plush, it's soft, shooting with it feels great. The knit upper is very nice as well. It does stretch to your foot, but the problem is the rest of the boot does not. So comfort-wise, it just was not the boot for me. I'm not trying to attack Under Armour. They did send these out to me, so big thank you to Under Armour for hooking me up with these. It's just, unfortunately, a boot I can't wear. So hopefully the next time I work with them, if I do in the future, please continue to work with me, Under Armour. It was really cool. I'll be able to properly wear the boot and have more comfort. But at least it lets me know that, hey, if you have narrow feet, this is definitely a boot for you. If you have wide feet, it's probably best to wait and see if they do something different in the future. Now, the lockdown was fantastic. It has a unique lacing system to where the outside of the boot has regular eyelets and just a regular lacing system. And then if you look at the inside here, I'll try to get a better look for you. There's all these little like wires, almost like the fly wire system. And I think that's exactly what they were trying to replicate, but it does tighten the boot a bit more than normal. So that's cool. The only issue, and this is just an issue with a lot of boots currently, is it leaves a little bit of a bunch in the boot material. So you'll see a better close up here, but it's right in this area right here. So the boot definitely bunches up, and I really don't think you can prevent that. I think it's just how the upper is designed. And if they took probably a couple millimeters out of that area and just shortened it, it would be a bit more flush. But what are you going to do at this point? The boot's already made. So other than that, lockdown was perfect. Did not come off my foot at all. My foot did not slide around at all, but that's also what's going to happen when a boot is very, very narrow and you have a wide foot. It's really going to hug your foot. So where can you buy the Under Armour Magnetico? Well, it's pretty easy to pick up. You can find it on any major retailer. Some of these smaller soccer stores and smaller soccer websites don't carry them, but Unisport, soccer.com, ProDirect, 11 Team Sport, the Germany site, I'm sure even Football Motion has them. And I think there's even a few pairs floating around on eBay for a little cheaper. So if you want to try these but don't want to spend a ton of money, maybe eBay will have a few pairs your size. How long will these boots last? How long will you have them for? That I don't really know. I didn't wear them nearly as much as I wanted to. Like I said, I only wore them on turf, and I only wore them probably 3 to 4 hours max because it was just impossible to fit my feet in these. But from what I can see, there's absolutely no tears or anything like that. I have not seen Under Armour boots break down easy from the amount of people I've seen wearing them, which isn't a lot, but they tend to have them for a long time. And even the Clone Magnetico, which I did wear a decent amount, showed no sign of wear. It just got dirty, and that's pretty much the same for these. These really aren't even that dirty, right? But overall, I think these are going to last you a while. So if you do buy a pair, I think you're not going to have to buy one for a while, or at least another boot. So overall, I think this is a great boot, and it performed pretty well besides the width, and unfortunately that's what stopped me from really testing it more. So if it wasn't so narrow, I would definitely keep testing it and wearing it more just to see how it did, but I can't. And I do think Under Armour's in this pretty cool stage where they're becoming a lot more creative. They're not really copying other people, and they're making more leaps forward, which I think is fantastic. New Balance did this when they had the Bizarro. I thought it was ugly, and they had a really bad run, in my opinion, of boots. But once they hit the V5 Pro, the V6 Pro, the 442, we really started seeing giant leaps forward for them. And I think that's about what Under Armour's going to hit in the next year and a half, 2 years. And I'm really interested to see how the next model of this looks, the Shadow Pro, and what they continue to do with their brand. Because if they decided to go with a leather option, that would be pretty cool. So that was my entire review on the Clone Magnetico 4. Let me know your opinions, if you have this boot, if it fits your foot, what you think of it. If you guys like football boot reviews, facts, videos, anything like that, please make sure to check out the rest of the channel. There's tons of stuff on there. Drop a like and subscribe. It helps it grow so I can get more boots to do more reviews for you guys. And with that, I will see you in the next review.